Welcome back, guys. I'm once again here with Leeds' most delusional fan, my dad, and we're looking back at last season for Leeds United and Ipswich Town and a few other teams. But first, before we get into this, let's just have a quick flashback at Leeds' most delusional fan.
Well, let's just be honest. Who are Preston? If you don't beat Preston, you're League One next year.
And you think David McGoldrick might come back to haunt Ipswich today?
Nah. The bloke would just trip over his own bootlaces, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's, they'll still be pensioning him off anyway. No.
It is physically possible for Ipswich Town to stay in the division.
I do, but you need to buy Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. Or under-21s could knock you lot off the park, mate, and you know it.
I just want to pick up on something you said about Bielsa. You said he's a nice guy and he'd stop in the street and talk to anyone. He can't even speak English, Dad.
No, but he takes his interpreter everywhere.
Right, so Dad, is there anything that you regret saying last season when I interviewed you at a number of different games?
Well, I remember when you played Preston, and I said, who are Preston? Obviously, I wasn't trying to run down a football club. It was a bit of a joke. But I did say, if you didn't beat Preston, you're League One next year. You didn't beat Preston, and you're now League One.
Yeah, well, you know.
Also, I did say that our under-21s could knock you lot off the park. I still stand by that. It's just, I think, we were there. We were home and dry in the playoffs. And, Kemir Roof decided to play rugby instead of football on the day, put the ball over the bar. If that ball had gone in the net, I think we would have buried you that day. But I think we felt sorry for you.
I think the only people that felt sorry for anybody that day was Ipswich fans towards Leeds fans and how dreadful they played. And I think Ipswich were, good for the win in the end. 3-2, we absolutely bossed you off the park, and I don't think you even had a sniff in that game, to be fair. You had one shot, that went in. You had about 15 over the bar. You missed the penalty.
Yeah, are you forgetting the other 26 shots we had? Because I do recall we had 27 shots.
Yeah, but they weren't on target, were they? To be fair, Dad, we probably want to move on from that and talk a bit more about the playoffs. And obviously, after losing at Portman Road, obviously Leeds went on into the playoffs and got what you probably say is a good result at Derby, and then coming back to Elland Road, all went tits up.
It certainly did, son. We beat them in the league away 4-1, slaughtered them. Could have been 7 or 8. We beat them at home 2-0. It could have been 6 or 7. We beat them away. They had in the playoffs. They had one shot on target. And well done to Derby County. Come to Elland Road and scored 4 goals. But all I can say to Frank Lampard is, you celebrated too early, old son, didn't ya? And that's what you get when you celebrate too early. So see ya in the same division next season, and we'll kick your ass again. Unlucky.
Do you not think that Frank Lampard is potentially going to move on to Chelsea? He's been highly linked with a Chelsea job.
Possibly, yeah. But good luck to the bloke. He was a good, steady England player, and I think he's brought a lot to Derby County. And I quite like Derby County, to be honest. Yeah, a very good side over the last several seasons. Always been there or thereabouts. Ain't quite managed it, good luck to them.
I don't think they bottled it this season, for once, to be fair. They've been known as bottle jobs over the last 6-7 years.
Yeah.
And they actually made it through to the finals. They took Leeds. You've got to give them their dues. They beat Leeds at Elland Road so convincingly in the end.
Yeah.
But they deserved to be in that final, but just really didn't show up. And I think their best players were on the bench. I mean, Waghorn and Marriott, 2 ex-Ipswich players, obviously.
Yeah.
But both of them should have been in the starting lineup, and they would have offered a lot more from an attacking side of things in the playoff final. But so is the story, and obviously that brings us nicely on to Aston Villa. Villa obviously got promoted. You've always talked Villa up. I want to know what your feelings are towards them in the Premier League next season.
I've got a lot of friends who are Villa fans. They were top of Europe for many seasons, and they're a very big club with a fantastic stadium. I talk them up because they are a Premier League side, just like Leeds and several other teams, But Villa, they've always sort of been my favourite Midlands team, like Arsenal have always been my favourite London team.
Yeah.
You know, but you know there is only one side, of course. That's Leeds United, and of course I have to take a close look at my hometown team, which is Ipswich Town. And all the jokes cutting aside and that, you know, I've got a passion. All my sons follow Ipswich Town. I want to see them get back to the days of glory, and they had many glory days, and they were a fabulous side. I grew up watching a fabulous Ipswich team, and when you live in a place that breeds success, you tend to be very proud of that team, even though I've always been a Leeds United fan, as you know. And you know, that's more than I can say for Norwich City.
Yeah, well, obviously 3 sides returning to the Premier League, another chance to get it right. Norwich, obviously Sheffield United and Villa. I would have expected a bit of early transfer news from all 3 of those clubs. Sheffield United have been quite quiet. Villa have gone and signed an unknown striker from Belgium for £20 million. I thought they would have learnt their lessons after the money they splashed when they're in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Obviously not the case. Norwich have signed, as far as I'm aware, 1 player, and that's Patrick Roberts on loan. I think they need to strengthen, definitely, but what do you think the Premier League will hold for Norwich and Sheffield United then?
Norwich City, they're very much a yo-yo side. Last season, their goal scoring was fabulous. Can't knock them. Absolutely amazing side. To put that amount of goals in, they were averaging about 3 goals per game at one point, and you can't knock that. Fair play to them. Good luck to you, Norwich City. Good on you. I've got no, you know, I cut all these jokes about Norwich City, but you know, a nice little football side. Effectively, if they built on the stadium, they'd probably sell that out as well. You know, they're a well followed side, and good luck to those. I do believe that you know, it could have been a little bit easier for them rather than going to Anfield, first game of the season, playing the European champions who only lost 1 game in the Premier League last year. That's tough. That is tough. So if Norwich could get a result at Anfield, you know, like a sneaker draw out of it or something like that, could set their season up.
Yeah.
On the turn coin of that, if they get slaughtered, you know, Delia Smith could be looking at relegation again. You know, you could be talking that early on, because that's the sort of a big lump of a score could actually make your team down in a dump straight away. But good luck to Norwich City. Played some fabulous football last year. I remember when Leeds went there and beat them 3-0, deservedly so and all. And you know, we had a fair whack of the play and could have easily got a result at home, but we didn't. Norwich put their balls away, we didn't, and fair play to them. Good on them. Sheffield United are another Yorkshire side. Always been a rivalry between Sheffield United and Leeds. What I liked about Sheffield United last year was their defence was sound. Absolutely sound. And if you go back to the old Arsenal days of George Graham as manager, and when he came to Leeds as well, he had the best defences in the land, and basically that's what Sheffield United had in the league last year. An absolutely fabulous thingy.
What Wilder has done there is actually got a few older heads from lower leagues, and he's put them together well with 3 signings as well. You've got Billy Sharp leading the attack. In my opinion, and this is not biased at all, I feel that Sheffield United are probably in a better position than Norwich to go up at this moment in time, purely because Norwich's back 4 is made up of 3 under-21s. They may struggle, but those players, you know, they play well in that division. In a year, 2 years' time, they could be a brilliant team and brilliant individuals as well. But there's one team that didn't quite cough up the goods last season, and one that's still going to stick in the memory of quite a few West Bromwich Albion fans, and that is Albion. They struggled towards the end of the season, and I think that's probably in line with Town's away draw at West Brom. They started to lose games and didn't pick up points, and obviously in turn Darren Moore was sacked, and in that time period now obviously Slavan Bilic has gone in, ex-West Ham United manager, Croatian manager. Not a bad manager in any way, shape or form. What do you think about that?
I think the sacking of the manager was very, very unfair. He brought a fair bit of success there. If you go on the early running of the season and that, they were a very attractive side to watch. And they had a few slumpy games, and all of a sudden they bring in Bilic. But having said that, Bilic is he's a sound manager.
He's got pedigree, isn't he?
Yeah, he has. But sacking the boss at that time wouldn't have come in at the right time, I don't think. And I don't know why West Brom come off the rails. I didn't really follow whether they had too many injuries, but I do know when Leeds played them at the Hawthorns, they destroyed Leeds.
I think it's just a forgotten memory, but West Brom did actually make the playoffs.
Yeah,
and had enough to potentially win those games, but they didn't show up, did they?
No. Well, you say that. I mean, they run Villa close, didn't they? But and again, for all I say about Villa, I don't like cheats. And Grealish, you're a cheat, mate. Okay, you are a cheat. I don't like cheats who dive. Grealish, you're a top class player. You don't need to do that shit. And nobody likes it, and nobody likes you if you're going to carry on doing that. I mean, I don't condone what that twat did to you, smacking you on the side of the face when you weren't looking. But sometimes, Grealish, when you keep diving, son, and cheating people out of results, which you did last season several times, you need a slap boy.
Do you think Grealish will get found out in the Premier League with obviously VAR coming in thick next season, and we've seen it, how it can affect. If you look at the women's game, obviously the Women's World Cup has been marred by VAR decisions. Yeah. I welcome VAR coming in, but do you think those decisions are going to be used against cheats?
I hope so. I hope so, because there's no room for cheating in the game. Like there's no room for racism. There's two things I hate: cheating and racism. There's no room for that shit, because that's what it is. And cheats, can win massive prizes to clubs. Brings in millions and millions of revenue. I always remember Cristiano Ronaldo in the early days cheating all the time, diving. He didn't need to do that. Best player in the world, one of the best players we've ever seen. You're never going to see a player like him. He's ahead of Messi, in my opinion. He's ahead of Maradona, Pele, all that lot. I've seen them all. And that boy didn't need to cheat. And nobody likes to cheat, and there's no need to do it.
No. Well, that being said, obviously we come now down to the other side of the league, and obviously Town got relegated, and along with Bolton and was it Rotherham, the other team that got relegated? Yeah. There's been a lot said about Ipswich, but obviously, what were your opinions on Town as a team last season, and those players that stood out for you?
Town last year, obviously came down quite a lot because all my boys follow the Town. I didn't see too much football play, but when they did play football, the best football I saw was the last game of the season against Leeds. They played some lovely football at times there, and all I can say to all you Ipswich Town fans out there, you Ipswich players, you cheated your fans, because if you would have played like that all season, you would have been nowhere near the relegation spot. How come you can turn up for Leeds United, but you can't turn up for the other games? You can turn up at West Bromwich Albion and get a result. You can turn up, a few other places and get results. But the rest of the season you play like, the money you earn, you're a disgrace to your loyal fans. Your fans are superb. They follow you everywhere. You've got a good young fan base there. It's very nice to see. I just think, to be playing League One football next year for Ipswich Town is quite shocking. At the same time, I think you'll do very well. You've just signed Norwood, absolutely first-class striker. You supply that boy, and he'll get you the goals. You'll be back in the Championship the following season. You've also just signed a big lad of a goalkeeper. Was he 6'9"?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad Gherkin's gone, because Gherkin, in my opinion, was a Birkin. He wasted space, and the other lad was on far too much money. You can't pay, I think, reportedly 25 grand a week, something like that. Decent keeper. To be fair, Biakowski, when he played against Leeds, was stunning. Let's be honest, he made 5-6 world-class stops.
I'd probably argue that is his only game of the season where he stood out.
Yeah. Another one played out of his skin against Leeds United, but against nobody else. But them two keepers, they're both pretty much prima donnas, really.
Yeah.
Off you go, boys. Nobody's heard of you anyway, so yeah, Biakowski might find someone. Gherkin, you'll end up at somewhere like. Has he gone Colchester or something like that?
That's what I've heard anyway.
Yeah, well, good luck to you, Gherkin. But you're not a very nice guy anyway. But Norwood, excellent signing. A new keeper could make a big difference. Big lad between the sticks when you got. But you need to shore up your defence a bit. I mean, there was a lot of chaos last year. You had that lad on loan from Villa, didn't you? The guy with a bald head, what was his name?
No, we did. We signed him. That was James Collins, but he won't be signing next season. But I do want to ask you about players such as Luke Chambers and Cole Scouse. What are your thoughts about them?
Chambers, he's had his day, mate. At one time, very solid, but he just... I don't think his marking's good. He tries to be a general, but he don't know what he's doing himself. I'm not lying. That's how I feel. Scouse, skillful player, holds the ball up well, feeds the ball out well. He looks about. He's got good vision. I quite like Scouse, although he looks a little bit injury prone. I don't know whether he is or not, but he looks like you give him a knock and that's the end of him. Yeah. But Chambers. I'm not so sure anymore. I mean, a couple of seasons, 3 seasons ago, maybe more solid, but not so much now. That's my honest opinion. I think you need I think your flank, your left and right backs are pretty decent myself. I quite like them. And one player I really like as well, who won't be too long before he shines, is Andre Dozal. He's got flair, he's got movement, he's got vision. His work rate could go up a little bit, and I think if he got played a bit more and he got put in the right position and he feeds Norwood, you're going to come straight back up. That's what I think.
Your prediction is Town will get promoted at the first attempt?
Yeah.
What about Leeds then next season? What are your feelings?
Leeds, very disappointed about last year. I was pretty devastated. It took me a little while to get over that. I would like to see Bailey, Peacock, Farrell go back in goal.
Over Casilla every day of the week?
Every day of the week.
I'd probably say he's your worst player on the park.
Cost us dearly last year. I would say he cost us 9 to 12 points. I'd like to see the young lad back in goal. It's great that Bielsa is staying. We've got Qatar investment now, which could mean great things. So
do you think Leeds will be busy in the summer then? They've not been busy so far.
Well, they're only putting in a small percent. Well, we don't really need that many players. We just need a bit of backup for injuries, which we didn't really have last year. And I'd like to see a few of the youngsters get a run out. I'm out of Boy Clark. He's going to be something else. It's reported that Tottenham have just offered 20 million for him. But I think Leeds
he's decent. But I would like to see someone. One that caught my eye was Malik Wilkes, who spent time on loan at Doncaster Rovers, and I'd like to see him come into the league. So I think he's got something to offer. But in my opinion, I think you'd probably be missing a striker up front as well that can net every single week.
Well, we have had one out on loan. I can't think of his name now. Actually, 2. So we'll see how it go. I mean, a definite striker, but although I think if you feed Bamford enough, he will put the ball away, right? Yeah. A lot of people ridiculed him last year, but just study him. The boy is class. Just give him a chance. Maybe play Bamford and Roof up front. I just think that there was just that little sniffer edge missing last year. So you get a guy. Who's that guy up front for West Brom who missed the playoff final? Dwight Gale. See, we were interested in him, but the boy wants too much money. Yeah.
He's a player who's on Premier League wages that is surviving in the Championship. I would say now he's not going to play in the Premier League again. But yeah, I think we've had a good chat, Dad. I think until next time, I said if there's anything you want the Leeds most delusional fan to talk about, just leave a comment below. Make sure you subscribe and like where you can. And in the meantime, come on you Blues.